Chilling all day, all in your space is where I wanna be. Here in this room, what did you do? I just can't get enough. Too caught up in your love. I've been trying to forget, but you won't let me. Something in my brain wants you. I've been hanging by myself, asking for help, but nothing seems to work on you. Yeah, you always make me feel like home. Yeah, you never leave my thoughts alone. Yeah, you're the reason I'm going out of my mind. I just can't stop thinking about you.
Dear brothers, it's about quality, not quantity.
So guys, it should be your conversation, the way you flow, your presence is enough for a woman to want to be around you, not how much money you spend.
Dear sisters, it's about knowing your value.
My sisters out there, don't be afraid to scare a guy off just because you have standards.
Dear brothers, dear sisters, it's time to come together.
Hey, welcome everybody to the best, most mature show podcast out there, DBDS Live. I am Carl, the coach, aka Mr. Accountability and Marriage Coach. Got my wonderful co-host Cameron with me tonight. We're gonna have a fire show. Cameron, how you doing, sis?
I'm doing wonderful because we are finally doing this show that we have been talking about for a minute.
Yes, we have been. It's
Yes.
going. Look, folks, I'm gonna tell you. Look, turn your phones off. Go get you a pad, or open your notes on your phone. This is going to be an amazing show tonight. I mean, we always say that, but this is really going to touch home for a lot of people as we go forward with our show tonight. So
Absolutely.
So, but I'm not going to hold you guys long. Look, I just definitely, DBDS, again, we are about healthy relationships, understanding if you're healed and whole, you can enter in a healthy relationship. Healthy relationships help with healthy marriages help with healthy communities.
Right.
So if you're in need of coaching, you're in need of counseling, you can always go to our website, dearbrothersdearsisters.com. Right here, you can schedule an appointment with one of the coaches. There's a lot of healthy videos on there that will help you to get through stuff. There were some amazing books on there that you can order that will help you out in different areas of your life. I'm telling you, it's phenomenal. Go to the site, join it. Those of you that are watching tonight from YouTube, make sure you click subscribe. We definitely like that. It helps us out with what we're doing. We're on Facebook Live going forward with this. I'm telling you, this platform, and we thank our brother Jamel Lawrence for giving us the opportunity to host tonight. But this platform that he's created is dynamic, and though it may sound like the same verbiage, we all are in agreement with each other. It's because we're all in agreement of what's right versus what's wrong. There's a lot of, and you probably agree with this too, Cam. There's a lot of podcasts out there. There's a lot of people out there that are trying to fill their pockets instead of filling people's hearts.
Right.
So we're not about that. We're trying to get you from the side of hurt and trauma to the side of heal and prosperity. So with that being said, Cam, you got some exciting news. Go ahead and share with the audience. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I think it was either the first Sunday or the second Sunday show in or I don't know. Honestly, I don't know when it was, but it was definitely a few weeks shy of my birthday on March 24th. I literally live on camera claimed that or declared that I would be finishing my book. And not only did I finish the book, but I finished, or actually 3 are in completion right now.
Awesome.
And tonight I have for a special treat for everyone who is viewing, because we all know that you could have been anywhere else tonight, but you chose to be here. So I am actually offering you all a free download of one of my ebooks. It is basically it's called It's Not Broken. So the series is called Not Broken because at the end of the day, it was the knot of the marriage that was broken, but you're not broken. So, you know, and that's something that we're going to be touching on tonight. You know, divorce is just a moment in your life. It is not a defining moment. It's definitely an impactful moment, but it's a moment that you don't have to stay stuck in. Like, you can actually see it as a springboard to your highest self, your best life, happiness, and like we're talking about tonight, love. And not just any kind of love, but amazing love, the kind of love you have always dreamed about. So that's pretty much what I touch on in this book. I basically take the reader through a series of questions that I personally asked myself when I sat down and got crystal clear about who I wanted to be as a person after divorce. So that's what I'm doing tonight.
Awesome. And this is what I'm talking about, people. We are trying to put things in your hand that will help you recover from the trauma, will help you recover from bad relationships, help you to find your spouse. So, Cam, I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you. Definitely. But we will definitely be sharing her book more. I'm telling you, go out, get your free download. This is going to be phenomenal for those that want to get there, because so many times people go through a divorce and they're so lost and they feel like I will never be able to experience love again, because you feel like that's the person that you were supposed to be with. So you're talking, and again, you're talking about 2 people who were married for a long time, and 2 people, and talking about Cam and myself, who pushed to try to make the marriage work. So I'm going to give these 2 disclaimers before I give the topic to the show. Disclaimer number 1, this show is in no way, shape, or form an indictment on our former spouses. None. It doesn't matter what went wrong. This is not about them. This is about us, what we did after the knot was broken, and how we did not allow ourselves to not be broken in this process, and how we got to where we're at now and finding love and in healthy relationships. The other thing is this: if you're married, if you're separated, we are not anti-divorce, but we are pro-marriage. So here at DBDS. So if you're watching this and you're thinking, oh man, I listened to all this, maybe this isn't the person I'm supposed to be with, we're not endorsing that. This is not a show that you're going to sit there and say, I graduated through divorce, like somebody else said, and now they're suffering. This is not that. This show is for those who are divorced and want help to get to a healthy relationship. So with that being said, we go ahead and bring the title of our show up tonight, and it's called what did we say it was going? Oh man, I got lost on the whole transition on that. Finding love after divorce. So we're going to talk about that tonight. So Cam, what's your thoughts on that?
I think this is, and for those of you who are watching who are not members of the free Facebook group, DBDS, basically tonight is like I said, we've been talking about having this show for a while. And when I say a while, I'm saying like at least a year.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happened that we are in a place, Carl and I definitely are in a place where we can speak on this. Like, this is not clickbait, people. Like, we're not out here faking the funk. Like, everything that we are sharing tonight, everything that our special guests are sharing tonight, we are proof of what happens when you get crystal clear on not only who you are, but who you want to spend your life with, who you want to share your life with, who you want to build a legacy with, regardless of what happened in your past. That doesn't matter. It really doesn't. And I know that might be a hard thing to hear, but hopefully by the end of this show, you will understand why we say it does not matter.
Absolutely. So yeah, I'm excited. We definitely had this conversation for a while. And like you said, right now we happen to be walking in that into that glow of healthy relationships. And I think the dynamic tonight's show is going to work out too, because you have two who have been through that and now in healthy marriages, and you have two who are been through that and now in healthy dating relationships. Well, let me change that. Courting relationships.
Courting
relationships. So we're gonna change. We have to fix the verbiage for some of y'all. But yeah. But that being said, you ready to bring our guests on out?
Let's do it.
All right. Coming first is a sister. She's been on here a couple of times. Fabulous, fantastic. She's always got something positive that will to leave with you every time she's on here. My sister Ernetta.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, what's going on, sis?
Hi.
So, good to have you back. So real quick, we got some new viewers. So if you would go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about yourself, what you do, and why you're on the show.
Yes, I just first want to say thank you all for having me. This is such a great joy. I love being here with the DBDS family. So my name is Ernetta Caldwell. I am an author, speaker, coach, and I help women to rediscover and reinvent themselves after divorce or heartbreak. I myself went through a devastation of a divorce, wanted to give up on life. I thought that was the end, but God showed me it was just a new beginning, and I was willing to take the risk to love again. And I want to share that with other women as well. Maybe you've been hurt, maybe you've been abandoned, rejected, and all of the above, and you feel as though there's not anyone out there for you. But I want to encourage you to let you know there is. You just have to believe.
Awesome.
Yes.
Welcome back. This gonna be good.
Yes.
And next, we're bringing in my brother. He's been on several times, always dropping the jewels. I've known him for years, and it's so great to have him on the show. My brother Floyd.
Hello, hey, how you guys doing?
Good. What's going on, brother?
Oh man,
Glad to have you back.
oh man, blessed. I'm excited about the show myself. I really
Awesome.
love what DBD stand for. It's healthy relationships, healthy marriages. I'm a person that went through a devastating divorce, got married again, and I believe that marriage is a good thing if you do the work. So definitely I'm here to encourage those that may have gone through bad divorce, feel like there's no hope. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. Just want to see people get married again and have healthy relationships and healthy marriages. So glad to be here.
Awesome. Appreciate you, definitely. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the first topic tonight. And the first one is the forgiveness and healing phase. So let me set the tone with this. And what I think people need to understand is forgiveness is not for the other person. Forgiveness is for you. Mm-hmm. When you operate from a place of forgiveness, you're able to move on. You're able to begin now the healing phase of it. Because if you never forgive that person, you'll never be able to heal properly. Because there's always going to be some type of bitterness, resentment, you're always going to see it from blaming them. So I always tell people like this, what I do when I'm coaching somebody or if we're having a conversation, if a person first goes and blames their former spouse or former relationship partner, and we're not even having that kind of conversation, you're not ready to be in a relationship. So if we're talking about finding love after divorce, this is the very first step. You've got to forgive them. You have to forgive yourself. But ultimately, the forgiveness is for you so you can begin to take that healing journey into, and again, I will always say this, healing never stops. Right. We just get better. We get to a place where you're healed to date. You're healed to remarry at that point in time. But the healing never stops. It's like a body part. Once you break it or damage it or scrape it, there's always going to be a sign of that pain or that trauma that was caused to it. But it heals and it gets better and better over time and gets stronger. And that's what we're here to try to talk about tonight. So coming to my sister Ernetta first, what are your thoughts on forgiveness and healing?
Yes, forgiveness and healing after divorce is a must in order to get you to move forward in your journey to experience love again. So like you said, Coach Carl, definitely forgiveness is not just for that other person. Forgiveness is for you. And a lot of times we don't break free from that bondage of forgiving ourselves. We always want to pass the blame to say what that other person has done. And sometimes in forgiveness, it's saying, well, if they don't apologize to me like they should, right, I'm not going to forgive them. With that being said, you have to be able to stand strong to say, even if I never get an apology, I'm going to forgive. I'm going to break free from the bitterness, the bondage. That's going to help you with your healing journey to get to that next level. And believe me, I know it very well. But once I got to that place to say, you know what, forgiveness is better than holding on to any bitterness or grudge, my life was set free.
Awesome. That's big. So what, and I know you have made a comment before, you felt like life was kind of like over for you. You know, you thought it was done when you're going through there. At what point did you realize that forgiveness would help you get over that part?
For me, it was definitely my connection with God. When we go through hurtful things in life, we've all heard it said before, hurt people, but the key is heal people. And, you know, we have a choice as people, you know, and my choice was to get closer to God, not to pull myself further away from him. And in that relationship that I built with God, he just increased my faith. He allowed me to understand, to know that, you know, we look at a book, right? I have a book right here. A book is filled with different chapters, but when we go through one chapter in our lives, we don't see the bigger picture to the end of the story. So going through that painful situation, I didn't see what was for me. I didn't see chapter 10, chapter 12. I was just in chapter 2. I felt the pain. I said, God, I can't move forward. But he said, keep living. There's more to your story.
That's beautiful.
Yes. Appreciate it from the choir. So coming to my brother Floyd. So Floyd, what is your, you know, you've been through, like I said, brother, we've been through the fire together, man. We, you know, been on the phone many of hours talking as going through our situations. But what was it for you that made you really say, I've got to forgive so I can heal? What did that look like for you? And why do you feel like it's extremely important?
Well, you know, I cannot forgive somebody and not expect that I need forgiveness myself. For me, forgiveness, in order for me to move forward and be with the person I'm with now, my wife, I had to let go of the past hurt, the past pain of my last marriage. But I think a lot of times it's hard to forgive yourself for the for ignoring those red flags. I think at some point you look at yourself like, that was so stupid. How did I fall for that? Why did I stay in this relationship as long as I did? And I think you have to take a look and forgive yourself to say, okay, your intentions was correct. For whatever reason, the relationship didn't work out, but you have to move forward. And I really like what was said earlier. I had to literally give myself over to God and allow God to give me that time to heal. Because if I had entered into this relationship and I wasn't healed, I wouldn't recognize the blessing that I have right now. I think a lot of times we want better, but we're not better. You can't get better until you become better. And so, I could not have attracted my wife that I have right now that gives me everything that I need if I didn't do the work to be able to give her the things that she needs. So all that came as a result of forgiveness and forgiving myself, and also forgiving my ex-spouse. I had to forgive him and at the same time, forgiveness also said to me that I wish the best for them. I don't want to see them destroyed. Yeah, in the beginning you may feel that way, but at some point you can't really enjoy the blessing you have if you have ill will thoughts against your ex.
Absolutely.
Woo. Yes, definitely. That's good. As you say that, I heard this pastor made a comment. He was I guess I wish I could remember his name, but he made a comment. He said, if you have to hate a person to move on from them, you never loved them. And he said, you can still love that person that you're no longer with. You can still want the best for them. You can still want them to be healthy and whole. You still want them to be prosperous. Regardless of what took place, you were married to that person for a reason. There was something you saw in them that married them. So now you have to hate them and can't deal with them. I mean, in some cases, sometimes you have to have a total disconnect. I get it. But he was making a point on that, and even for me, and this is a reality check for myself. I even realized a couple of weeks ago, and I thought about it, and I was like, I've never thought this at all, and I don't know where it even came from. I was just, my meditation time, prayer time, I was sitting there, and I said, I stayed in my marriage 12 years too long. I was married for 20. And I had to forgive myself for that. I'm in a relationship, a healthy relationship. And even in the middle, that's why I say healing never stops. It never stops. And I caught myself and I said, that was on me. Why did I choose to stay? And like Floyd, you're saying, you have to forgive yourself for staying too long. And it's again, no knock on them. It was just something I realized to myself. I tried to make something work that wasn't working. And so that's on me, no one else. I had to forgive myself for that. So I'm just a transparent moment. I think sometimes we get stuck in these things and we're like, oh, I can't even envision saying that. I can't admit to I did this and this, because I always say we always play a role in the demise of a relationship, whether it's 1%, 10%, 50%, doesn't matter. We play a role in it. And that for me was big. It was a big wake up call. And I was just like, man, but the freedom that came with that thought process and forgive myself for that has allowed the amazing woman in my life to unlock some other things in me that she's purposed to unlock. But I'm going to talk more about that later on. So I don't want to get ahead of myself, but that is definitely, for me, a moment that hit me recently. And I'm like, you're talking 8 years later, and I'm like, man, wow.
Yeah.
Where'd that come from? But it's not but God that sent that to me to say, hey, make sure you let this go so that you can have what you have and be whole with this
Absolutely.
woman. So
Absolutely.
So that says, Sister Cameron, coming to you, what is your thought process? Because you and I, we've had the forgiveness and healing conversations behind the scenes for a long couple of years now. So what is your thought process on the forgiveness and the healing phase? And what are some steps you think some people can take to really get there if they're struggling with that?
So it's the educator in me. A lot of times some terms can be very ambiguous to people, right? So we can say forgiveness, forgive. But at the end of the day, what does that really mean? And once you understand what something means, then you can start to unpack it in terms of how it applies to you. So the definition of forgive, because forgiveness, it is in essence the act of forgiving, right? So the verb forgive means to stop feeling angry or resentful towards someone for an offense, flaw, or mistake. I'm going to say that again. Forgive means to stop feeling angry or resentful towards someone else for an offense, flaw, or mistake. Now, to your point, Carl, you said forgiveness never stops, but we get better at it. And why do we get better at it? We get better at it because every time that thought or that offense, that flaw, that mistake comes up, we have to forgive in that moment again and again and again and again. So it never stops. However, built into this definition of forgive, in essence, it calls us to forget. Are we going to forget on the first time? No.
No.
Absolutely not. How do we start to forget? We start to forget by practicing forgiveness over and over and over again every time that offense, that flaw, or that mistake pops up in our mind. It has nothing to do with that other person. It's us. It's us replaying that story over and over and over and over again. Like a hamster wheel, right? Is it fun to be on that hamster wheel? I don't know about, I can't speak for you, but for me, heck no. So when you asked me what I did, Carl, so literally at the very beginning, tears streaming down my face, a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old in the back of the car. I'm literally praying, please do not let bitterness or hatred take root in my heart. To Arnetta's point, yes, that was one chapter in my book, right? But and in that moment, I could not see the end of it. I couldn't even see the next hour in that moment. But all I knew was I want to be better, not bitter. Because I did not, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I did not want to be the black bitter woman. I didn't, because I had heard so many women talking about their exes and blah, blah, blah and whatnot. And I'm just looking at it, I was like, you don't look happy and you don't sound happy. So what can I do not to be like that? Because at the end of the day, I want to be happy, regardless of this hot bowl of mess that's right in front of my face. No, that's not going to be my life, because these kids, they deserve a happy, healthy mother, not a strong mother. I could care less about strength. Resilient. We need to start focusing on women being resilient, not strong. Like, I leave that to the men. Y'all be strong. Y'all be strong for us. You will never hear out of my mouth, I don't need a man. Not me. Yeah, I need you. I need you in my life. And I'm happy you're in my life. That's it. That's all I got.
That's all she got, yeah. like I said again, it's so powerful to hear that, and like I said, you didn't want to have the bitterness, resentment, because I don't think a lot of people realize the sooner, especially if you're married and you have kids, the sooner you both can move into a forgiveness world, the better it actually affects your children. And see, when children see both, one parent not moved on, they struggle in that. I don't get down with the whole children are resilient thing through divorce type of stuff. I don't get down with that type of mentality some therapists throw out there, because I know a lot of adults my age that are still struggling from their parents' divorces of 30, 40 something years ago. So, but that said, but when you're able to forgive, and that was a big thing for me, I had to forgive to move forward. I had to do that. And I operated with the actions of forgiveness. It's one thing to say it and think it. It's another to act on it, and showing those actions. And both my sons were able to watch that with me, and they were like, "Wow," they knew what went on and stuff, but they still were like looking at me like, "How are you doing this, Dad?" So now, fast forward, they're grown young men in their own relationships and what they're dealing with. So when they're having issues, they're like, "Well, Dad, I gotta forgive him. I go back to you with that because of how you were." So we got to understand that the forgiveness, yes, it's not for the other person. It's more for us, but it's how we affect our children. And by not having forgiveness or having forgiveness, it affects them one way or the other. And hopefully it helps pull the other person into the world where they forgive themselves and forgive you also. And that way you can move forward in whatever the next chapter in the book is for you guys. So, but yes, I appreciate that with y'all. So we're going to go ahead and look at the comments real quick and see what we got in there, because I know we've got some people chiming in. If we go to the first comment, Kim.
Okay. All right. Hello, my DBDS family.
What's going on, Roy? Next one.
I don't know if I could do it again. I think personally, people have too much trauma and people really don't get that love is reciprocal. Too many people are involved in relationships and marriages don't get that very simple fact. Okay. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not for everyone. The pain of divorce runs so deep, deeper than I ever imagined. It hurts. It really hurts. May 6th will mark 3 years since my divorce, yet I'm still going through the healing journey. Thank you, Lord, for your strength and grace. I'm here to say it definitely gets better. Practice self-care, find a good therapist, work on yourself, and start enjoying your life again.
Next one.
The most important relationship is the one we have with ourselves. Without becoming intimately vulnerable with who we are, our history, our victories and losses, and accepting the fullness of our being, we can't move on and be open and real with anyone else. Nor can we be open to accept someone else as they are. Accepting oneself is not a goal, but a journey built on small daily steps. Nice.
Absolutely. Yeah, those are great. I mean, really, really great comments. And like you said, Ken, it's not for everybody.
Right.
It's definitely a work process that people got to go through. You got to heal. Love is definitely reciprocal, but it's an action, and I think when we understand the actions of love, and I think we're going to have to do a show really on that and dive deep into the actions of what love really stands for on the action side. It makes a big difference. So with that said, though, we're going to go ahead and take our first commercial break. Don't go anywhere. This is DBDS Live.
and you're not living on
Jamal Lawrence, author, relationship advisor.
One of the DBDS Facebook group.
Of family, the gift of love, the gift of family.
I don't think that's the key.
Okay, we're back. I'm gonna come to Floyd real quick, and then we have somebody that popped in and wants to give a comment or something. So we're gonna go ahead, Floyd, real quick. What did you have to add? And then we're gonna go to the. We got somebody that's popping in wants to ask us a question.
Yeah, something came up and made me think about it. I think when you go through a divorce, the person that you go into that marriage, you come out a different person, especially if you've gone through a hard divorce. One of the questions that came up was, who do I want to be after my divorce and after my marriage? I think because you morph into something else, especially if the relationship or the marriage was a disappointment, or you had to go through pain. That pain changes you into someone else. So you have to ask yourself, who am I right now as a result of my divorce? Because the person that you are in a process after marriage or divorce, you're not the same person. Your intention going into our marriage was it was gonna last forever. You guys are gonna grow old together, and then in the process of that, you look in the mirror and you don't recognize yourself. You are not the same person going into that marriage. And when you and when you come out, if you don't heal yourself, that person still remains with you until you go through the healing process. So even when I was going through my last marriage, was very painful, so hurtful. I had to spend time to ask myself, who am I now as a result of this marriage? Who have I become as a result of this marriage? And then who do I want to be coming out of this marriage? Because even though in the marriage it didn't work, I still wanted to love. I still wanted to care for someone. I still wanted to adore somebody. But I had to go back and do the work and say, okay, I need to heal. I need to practice self-care. I need to spend time to myself so I can regain the identity of the man that I am now to be able to love the way I love right now.
Well said, Floyd. Appreciate it. So we have a pop in. If we go ahead and I believe it's Mark.
All right.
Hanging in, yeah.
There he is.
There he goes. What's up, Mark?
You'll have to pardon me. I'm coming into this a bit late, so please re-enlighten me as to the subject of the current discussion.
We're talking about finding love after divorce. Right now, we're talking about we just come up with forgiveness and healing phase. So, what you got a quick comment or question?
Mostly a comment. I think somebody had mentioned how a marriage and love relationship needs to be reciprocal. I think that's a 110% bullseye. I don't think enough people realize that too many people, both men and women, come into it a little bit too narcissistic. It's all about me. No, it's about us. And it needs to start that way and maintain that throughout the entire relationship if it's going to last.
Appreciate that. So, we appreciate you, Mark, coming in, man, hopping on here real quick, man. We definitely that is a powerful thing. That is. We're gonna do some more, and we might have to get you on the show one day, Mark, officially, if you want to, if you're open to joining one time.
Well, I've been wanting to come on for a while, but is that applause?
I appreciate it, brother.
I've been wanting to come on for a while, but I enjoyed the page on Facebook and wish everyone the best.
Thank you, Mark.
Likewise. Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day, brother.
Mark is right, though.
Great. So as you see, DBDS is enhancing what we're doing, and we're having pop-ins, live pop-ins. So we just never know what somebody's going to say, ask questions, But this is the world that we're in, and we're really trying to help. We're not. Again, this is not our pockets. This is about your. This is about your hearts. So, with that said, we're going to go ahead and jump into our next topic, and it's called "Doing the Real Work." This is one of my favorite ones. 'Cause I'm big on doing work. So just really understanding this, a lot of times people will say, "Oh, I've done the work," and you ask them what they've done, and most people it's, "Oh, I, sat at the lake and meditated, or I read a book or a meme," or they've never really connected with someone and really had a real conversation with it. They've never journaled what went on. They've never really took a look and taking some accountability in what they deal with, in their past relationships, why they chose people, why they did different things. So to do the real work, you've got to get through that. And like I said, that's that forgiveness and healing part, because you cannot do any work until you are there. You've got to forgive. You've got to start healing. And you get to that because here's something you got to think about: triggers. When you do, there's nothing to say that you will not be triggered in your next relationship by something they do. It may be a reminder of something you went through. It's how you respond to it, because they may not be doing it the way your former partner or spouse did it. They just happen to do something, and especially they're getting to know you, they may not realize that this is a trigger. If you're flying off the deep end immediately without thinking it through, or recognizing that, hey, maybe I was a little over the top on what I said, you may need some more work. Identifying it and how you handle your triggers shows that you have done the work, that you're doing the real work at that point in time. So I'm going to come to you first, Floyd. What is some of the key things you did when you were doing the work, the real work, and what do you still do to this point, to this day?
Well, going back to what I said earlier, my intentions going into relationship into the marriage was that I was going to be successful. I was going to be with this person the rest of my life, and then it ended, and I got hurt. Not only did my mental health suffer, but my physical health suffered from it. My spiritual health suffered from it, and so I had to really sit somewhere and really ask myself, and I had to be honest: who have I became as a result of going through this relationship and this marriage? When I looked in the mirror, I didn't even recognize myself, because I wasn't the same person going in. So I really had to, and then even in the process of me dating other people, I was showing the person that I wanted to be in that relationship, in a new relationship, wasn't the same person that I was going into my marriage. I was giving to everyone that I may have been trying to date or get to know, the person that was hurt in the marriage. And so I had to really sit back and say, I am not healthy enough to be with anybody right now. I had to really ask myself, okay, Floyd, the red flags that you ignored, that was your fault. I had to take accountability. And I had to forgive myself for ignoring those red flags and stop looking at it as, well, that was a dumb thing I did. How could I fell for the trick. I fell for the okie doke. I allowed this person to come back into my life when I already knew this person's, who it was. I had to stop playing the victim, and I had to really say, okay, Floyd, again, like I said earlier, who do I want to become? Because the husband that I am right now, the father that I am right now, that was still in there, but it was covered up by pain and hurt. And so I had to forgive myself in order to be who I am right now. And what I've come to understand is that the work is continuous. You still have residue from your relationship or your last marriage or whatever, and you're constantly trying to distance yourself away from that old person that you was to become the person that you always believed you could be for your new mate.
That's good. I guess so. When you, like I said, so when you're doing that work, for you, do you feel like that work ever stops?
No, it never stops. It never stops because I'll tell you why it doesn't stop. Is because I wake up every single day and I ask myself, what kind of man do I want to be? The woman that God has blessed me with, what kind of husband do I want to be?
Mm.
The 12-year-old I'm raising, what type of father I want to be? And every single day I have to ask myself that question, and I have to say, okay, I want this. How do I want to show up for my wife today? How do I want to show up for my son today? You know, and that goes with me continually educating myself, reading books, looking at podcasts, finding other men to hold me accountable, you know, looking for other men that desire to be good husbands, good fathers, good leaders.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so, you know, for me doing the work is continually striving to move forward in every area of my marriage when it comes to being a husband, a father, the leader. I won't allow myself to get lazy and think that I've achieved it, because that's when I'm gonna get blindsided, because I get too relaxed and I get too comfortable. I can't allow myself to get so comfortable that I forget that there's still work to be done. If I am in fact going to become that husband, the father and leader that I say I want to be.
Appreciate that. So yeah, it's definitely a lot. You know, like I said, again, that work process, it just doesn't stop, and there's a lot behind that. Why not? But I'm gonna come to my sister Ernetta. What is your thoughts? Like I said, doing the real work. What are some things you did? What are some things you may recommend to other people to help them to actually be sure that they are doing the work correctly? Because you can do a lot of different things, doesn't mean you're doing the real work.
Yes. So I would definitely have to say doing the real work is all about allowing yourself to feel. A lot of times when we go through painful situations in life, we tend to want to run from it, medicate it, soothe it any way to avoid the pain. I'm a true believer that now, on the other side of my divorce and now remarried, I understand that the pain was only a part of the purpose and where God wanted to take me. And now it's all about me having the passion to pull up other women to let them know if God got me through, he can get you through too. Even in your darkest situation, even in that darkest hour right now, a lot of things I did as well. I journaled. And what was birthed out of me journaling was my own book, A Journey to a Healed Heart, Healing Through a Painful Divorce, where I share my story, getting connected with a therapist or a counselor or somebody that you can talk to help process your thoughts and your emotions of what you're going through. But something Floyd said as well, like getting connected with people that's going to lead you the right way. I have a chapter in here. It's called Know Your Circle. Be careful who you are around, because you can be around the wrong people that are toxic. That's going to make the situation even worse than what it started to be. You think you're going through a divorce, and I remember it was she was a neighbor friend, you know, she was just helping me out with some things, and she knew my situation. I was separated, and she was like, girl, you need you a jump off. And I was like, a jump off, you know, what is that? And so later I was like, a jump off. I said, no, I don't need a jump off. I need to jump on to the word of God. I said, because I could have got a jump off and then caused other issues and emotions and connections that God never intended through my healing process. So do the work, stay focused, and know who you're around. Keep your mind right, and just trust that it will get better.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah, because you see a lot of people, they'll say, you know, the best way to get over a relationship is to get under someone else. And I still don't understand that toxic mindset, because all you're doing is you're not allowing yourself time to grieve. You're not allowing yourself time to process. And now what you end up doing is you end up maybe linking up with something that feels good to your flesh and not your spirit. And you miss out on what would have been good for your spirit. And, for the person, it would be good for that. Like I said, there's so many people are spiritually wounded and they're trying to fill that with material things, and that doesn't work. So yeah, like I said, that circle is important. A lot of people, they mean well, and it's, even family, they'll see and they want the best for you, and they're just like, oh, I just want, we love you, want the best for you. And then sometimes even what they're saying can actually cause more harm than good, even though that's not their intention. They just care for us as individuals so much, and they see us hurting. They're like, well, go do this or go do that, go out on a date, and it's like, that's not really what we need. And this is why we've got to know the voice of God, so that we're able to sit and have a conversation with him. And then having sound people around also who are, pointing us in that direction, to go ahead and take care of that. So coming to my sister Cam, what are your thoughts on doing the real work?
Well, actually, we have another pop in right quick.
Do we? Okay, well, let's go to our pop in. What's going on, Brother Eric?
Hey, brother. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, great show, everybody. Great show. I'm enjoying it.
Thank you.
What you got for us, Eric?
I truly, I am a hopeless romantic. I really am. I will sing a Babyface song and but I want to share a quick story. I went down to my bank and I was talking to one of my bankers, and I don't even know how we got into this conversation. But we just was kind of laughing and talking about life. And, she revealed that, she was married and the first 5 years was so hard. And I could tell that she was still having a lot of issues. And it bothered me so much because we were laughing so hard and she was laughing so hard that she started crying. And I really didn't know what to say. But it just bothered me so much. And I guess my point is that people have to understand that you really have to forgive yourself if you feel like you didn't make a good decision. And that's what I got from her, because it was the kind of laughter that, like with me, I love to laugh. And when you can't laugh with your partner, it just makes it seem like life is so much harder. You understand what I mean? And I know that's very simple. And I think what happens is we as adults, we complicate things that don't need to be complicated. There are things that are very, very simple. And to me, laughter is so very important in a relationship, in a marriage. And when you can't have that, it does make it seem like life is a lot harder. So, when it comes to your topic, and I'm sorry that I veered off from the topic, but as far as your topic is concerned, I would say that if you're trying to get back out there, find someone that you can laugh with. Find someone that you can, have that laughter, and at the end of the day, you can come back at home and just be free and be able to laugh with your partner. And I guess I'm sorry that I'm long-winded and I feel like if I ventured off of your topic.
You're good.
No, don't apologize, Eric.
But that was on my spirit to share. So
well,
we appreciate you, brother. Thank you, brother.
We appreciate it.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks, Eric.
All right, bro.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, truly, laughter in a relationship is good. And I think even when you're dating, if you're dating somebody, I mean relationship dating, I ain't talking about dating multiples, But if you're not laughing when you're with them, or they don't make you laugh or put a smile on your face, it's probably somebody you don't need to be with. I mean, it's just real simple, and it doesn't take much. Just if y'all can't laugh at little things and crack up, and even when they say something crazy, and you just look at them and y'all both start laughing. If you can't have that type of dynamic, you might want to reevaluate somebody you're just dating. I'm not talking about if you're married, go fix it. I'm talking about if you're dating. So, Sister Cameron, back to you. So, doing the real work? What does that look like?
So first, I want to piggyback off of what Floyd said and what Ernetta said, because I mean, at the end of the day, these are things that I did too. So there's no mistake, or it's not a coincidence, that we're all here talking about what we're talking about. But the fact that Floyd, every single morning, even after marriage, he is making a conscious decision to ask himself, to check in with himself. Who do I want to be today? But prior to him meeting his wife, he asked, who do I want to be after divorce? What kind of man do I want to be from this point moving forward? Not the man I was in my past, but boom, right here, right now, in this moment. Who do I want to be? What kind of man do I want to be? And as a result, I mean, I applaud the fact that you two, Carl, you and Floyd, have in essence been there for each other. I think we move in this world in today where we kind of expect that with women. But when we hear men doing that, ladies, now Ernetta touched on it when she said, be aware of your circle as a female, but also when you're meeting him, be aware of his circle as well. Because our circles are a reflection of us. And I can tell you right now, my circle is extremely teeny tiny. And I love it. At no point in time did anyone in my circle say, girl, you need to get under somebody ASAP. Nope. We don't talk like that in my circle. No, we're about, I hear you. I see you. What can I do to support you? What do you need from me? And even if you don't have the words or the language to tell me what you need from me, I'm going to do this for you. Because in my heart, this is what's been placed in it. This is what I've been told that you need in this moment. Now that's a circle. But now right quick, I want to hit on your trigger comment, Carl. Because how we talk about, triggers with new partners. Honestly, I don't fear triggers. I see triggers as feedback. Oh, that kind of hit. That hit hard. Okay, why did that hit hard? Okay, let me clarify what they meant when they said that, because maybe I'm kind of sitting in the old version of me, hearing what they're saying to me. So really what they're saying to me is not that, but something else. So let me ask a question. And I'm not going to phrase it like, when you say you make me feel, no. Okay. So when you said X, Y, and Z, what did you mean by that? I'm not going to sit here and put words in anybody's mouth. I want to know what you said. Please clarify, because I need that clarity in this moment. Because right now, the story that I'm telling myself, it don't feel good. And that's all about me, right? That's me. So I'm getting feedback in that moment. So a trigger, send them. triggers are my litmus test. They let me know where I am in terms of how I see myself, how I'm showing up. And if I'm showing up, you know, in a way, I appreciate a partner who can tell me that, who doesn't let me just keep on going like that. No, they say, no, babe, like, what's up?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you know what? Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. I never really thought about it. But now that you bring it to my attention, my awareness, I'm going to start thinking about it more. And I'm going to think about it in a way not to judge myself, not to put myself down, but to say, ooh, does that feel good? Definitely doesn't feel good to my partner. So I don't want to continue doing that. And why do I do it anyway? Am I being conscious of it right now? Or is this just kind of autopilot Cameron showing up? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I don't like being autopilot Cameron. I really don't. So I take a trigger as feedback.
Yeah, I agree. Before we come to the comments, I say this. Yeah, the trigger is sometimes us being in our own head.
Mm-hmm.
And the trigger sometimes us being our own way. Because again, we may see something or hear something, but you got to go back and ask questions. And, like you said, the way you referred that, how to do that. The other side of it too is sometimes they don't know they did something that triggered you. Right. So, you may have to explain, hey, I went through this in a relationship and it looks like that. So it's hard, like I said, again, especially if you went through a traumatic ending to a marriage, a lot of times you can get in your own head, something looks like it's something that it's not. And that's where that healing, that forgiveness, that's where that work, all that ties in. Because when you're with somebody that loves you, if you're with the right person, their constructive criticism will pull you near and not cause you to flee. It's just that simple. They will pull you in. You will understand it. You'll be able to sit there and look at it and say, okay, yeah, that they didn't mean that. They didn't. And again, they're not going to know unless you explain it to them, unless you're willing to sit and that comes from accountability. That comes from humility. That comes from meekness, and that comes from all those fall under the word love.
Right.
So if I love you, and you may have triggered me, I should be able to love you to figure out why I'm triggered, and also be able to talk to you in a respectful manner to help mitigate the situation so that we don't have this problem. Because we all come from different relationship backgrounds. All of us have gone through so many different things. We don't know everything. It could be something from 5 relationships ago, and it popped up. We don't know because you explained what happened in your last relationship. So it's communication. That is it's one of those pillars I always talk about when you're building foundation of a relationship. But I appreciate that. So let's go ahead and jump into our comments, and then we're going to take another commercial break after that. So we go ahead and pull up our first comment.
Great show, DBDS. My best piece of advice for getting through a divorce is to calm down and retrace your steps back to the early days. Re-examine what could have been prevented, fix those things, then reconsider a fresh start, but this time with both therapy and meditation.
Okay, next, like that.
My divorce was finalized in December. Been in the gym religiously for the last month and cooking my food versus eating out. Makes all the difference in the world. It's been therapeutic for me, and I'm also seeing a counselor. Awesome. And right quick, that was me. And I tell people that I stayed in the gym to stay off of the bottle and pills. That was my practice in putting myself first, being a priority. making myself a priority. And at the same time, I was also in therapy. So kudos to you. That is amazing because there's nothing like those natural endorphins.
We'll go to our next comment. Appreciate that, Cam.
There should be a class in marriage and laws pertaining to marriage in high school. Often, divorce is the single most devastating financial event in a person's life. My divorce took a full year to complete with the lawyers. Getting married in the courthouse cost $35 and only took about 20 minutes.
Yeah. I'm not going to disagree on that one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're talking about positive things right now. So
yes, I don't even want to think about what mine costs. Ooh, Jesus, thank you. Thanks for the funds. But anyway, yes. And I just real quick for the commercial. When you're in that work part, date yourself.
Yes.
Don't worry about dating another person. Date yourself. That was a big thing for me. I took myself out on dates because I had to rediscover myself after being, literally spent half of my life with this one person. So coming out of that, I was like, do I like this stuff? No, I don't like this anymore. I don't like doing this. I did it for them. I had to rediscover who Carl was because I lost Carl in my marriage. So now coming out, I know who Carl is, and I'm still experiencing things. And I love, I love my girl. She's exposing me to different things, and so it's causing me to say, yeah, I'm glad I dated myself because some of those things that she does, I'm like, yeah, I do like that.
Right.
So you're not in, again, that's how you're able to attract what you are in those situations. But, it's definitely something people have to do. Take yourself out when you can. You got to do it all the time. Even if it's just go sit and listen to music, whatever it is you think you might like, things you may have never tried before, go do it. Go have fun by yourself, because I always say when you get to the place you're comfortable being single will be the time a relationship shows up. So but that said, we're going to go ahead and take a commercial break and come back and nail our last topic. This is DBDS Live. Y'all sit tight. I think one of the biggest areas in continue to talk about it because it's not addressed enough is self-awareness. Until you can be self-aware, you have no idea what your worth is. So you can define your worth whatever you want it to be, but you have no awareness of who you are.
Mindset that school is a safe place.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just take the home off the table right now.
Right.
If you don't feel safe in your home,
mm-hmm.
you're going to another place that you don't feel safe at.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a child, not an adult, you're using coping skills, which Eric mentioned, but how appropriate are those coping skills?
My brother, Carl the Coach, contributed a chapter to an anthology. I got it in the mail this morning, so it means it probably delivered yesterday, but I saw it today. Look, I already done read this much. Okay, don't judge me. All right, some of y'all get distracted by foolishness. At least I'm reading. Okay, look, this, for my ladies who are dating with purpose, for you who are working on yourself and you looking for a man who's working on himself, this your cheat code. This your book right here. You need this book right here. When I tell you they giving us all the goods, they spilling all the tea in this book. They telling us how to love them, how to respect them, how to be their peace, how to be their safe space.
Welcome back. I am Carl the Coach, here with my co-host, author of the new book, author of Not Broken, Cameron, my sister Ernetta, and my brother Floyd. Again, having an amazing conversation of finding love after divorce. This has just been an amazing show so far. But we're going to go ahead and jump into this third topic. And before we do that, got a quick video clip I wanted to play. I believe it ties right into what we're talking about. Let's go ahead and drop that video real quick.
So I'm divorced and remarried, and I got married really quick the second time. I'm talking like engaged and married within a few months. And someone recently asked me, how did I know my husband was the right person for me, especially after all I had been through? And I found what I wrote, and I just feel like you need to save this and write it down in your manifesting journal. Okay, I wrote, this man pursued me so intentionally, it melted away any insecurities because he showed me I was more important than relationship games. He adored me so much that I never had room to question if I was good enough. He respected me so well that I never questioned my worth with him. He was so wonderful to me that it made me want to be my very best self for him. And then I finish it off with, what made me fall in love with him as an adult so quickly without too much questioning anything was the way he made me feel about myself with his actions. Note that I didn't say how he made me feel in general. Any fuckboy can make you feel giddy and excited. It's how his actions made me feel about myself as an individual. Anyways, I wrote this about 2 years ago when we had been married 4 years, and now we've been married 6.5 years, and I still feel the exact same way about him. So go back and rewatch my video, write down everything that I wrote about my husband, and put it in your journal, because every girl deserves a guy like that. And they're out there, I promise. You just gotta dig for them. Dig and dig and dig, but they're there. I'm Monica. I share my mistakes in love and life, so you don't have to make them. Okay, love you, bye.
Gotta dig, yes. Finding that partner and that spouse is like finding a needle in shredded glass today. I'm gonna do more on that later on, but I love what she said. His actions. I always tell people, listen to a person's actions more than you listen to their words. That's a big thing. Listen to their actions. So, our third topic is ready to experience true love. So, we've talked about forgiveness and healing. That's a big part. So it allows you to get to the point to do the work, which was the next subtopic, doing the work, the real work. And so you can find this. So when you get to a point when you're ready to experience true love, it can sometimes be scary because you have this wall that you have to eventually pull down, because if you don't, you'll keep your partner locked out. They're out because you have a wall up around your heart. So this is why all these things are key to do it. It doesn't mean you pull your wall down right away, but there is work that you do that work so that they can get around the wall, or you give them the key to get through the door, through the wall, or sometimes yes, guys, we know we got to chisel away at the wall, or we may have to scale the wall, but it happens. It's part of life. It's what we go through. But it's only way you're going to experience that love. That person's got to get through that wall to your heart. And you have to be willing to yield your heart to them in this situation. So it's not an easy thing. I'm never going to tell anybody that, because it can happen quick. We hear this thing, when a man knows, he knows. And there are a lot of men who know. And sometimes, ladies, and I'm going to throw this to you before I go to Ernetta, sometimes, ladies, I'm just putting this out there. When you've done the work and you've got a man that comes along that does the work, he's not playing with you. He ain't got time to play games. He ain't got time to play around. He's coming for you. He's ready. And you may not get your marriage in 12 months, but he's not playing with you. You're it. That's it. And it looks, I guess that's why I said sometimes it seems scary, and you hear all these people, these new terms. Oh, he's love bombing, or he's this. He's a narcissist. He's got to be a narcissist. He's just probably looking for a place to rest his head. He's got to be all these different things. I'm telling you, if you're really ready to experience love and you've done the work, and you get a man that gets into your life and he's about you and he's using us, ours, you might want to put a bomb on the wall and blow it up yourself. So that said, I'm coming to my sister, Ernetta. Ernetta, what was it like to experience that love from that awesome husband of yours, your biggest cheerleader? Please tell me about that, because he's your biggest cheerleader. But what was it like experiencing that And being honest, what fears did you have when you realized this man really loved me, and is it right?
Yes, I would have to say shout out to my wonderful husband, Anthony. And yes, he is my number one cheerleader. But the key was for me getting to that point to want to move forward to experience love again. It was doing the work, of course, doing the self-love, loving me, first loving God, loving me, and then I attracted the love. We mirror who we are. And so when I attracted him and he came into my life, I had to question God, who is this? Because I even have a brand called Dating God Until Mr. Right Comes. That was just me just spending time with God and myself. That was me going to the movies and just doing things to know me as well. Because I was in a marriage, I was in a relationship marriage going on 17 years. And so sometimes you can lose you. But when he came, and I just knew there was something different about this man. I mean, it was just his heart. It was just who he was, his integrity. And that's what drew me towards him. But yes, I had questions. I had fears, because you're stepping out again. You don't want to take that risk to be hurt again, right? Once you've been hurt. But I was like, God, reveal this man's heart to me. And I'm just direct with God. I'm like, I don't have time to play games. Is this who you really sending? And every time he will reveal him to me. And I knew, okay, God, I'm going to trust you more than I trust my feelings or my emotions, to know if you brought him in my life, you know what I've gone through, that this man is truly, honestly here to love me and love my children as well, because he took my kids in as well.
That is awesome. I'm telling you. And so you're going to have to be back on part 2. So, because Cam and I just had this conversation of co-parenting after divorce, meaning with the new parent, loving and co-parenting after that. And, you finding somebody who's willing to take on that responsibility of your children as their own. And so, yes, that's amazing. Anthony, big shout out to your brother. I know you're in the background cheering on. And it's so cool. Like you said, you had the fears, you went through the things, and you're like, God, okay, what's the deal? And I think some people, they get caught and they're like, I want this, but and I think some people, sometimes they want it, they're not ready for it. Or they want it and they don't know what it looks like. Even for me, we get there, we get caught in the situation, we don't know what it's going to look like when it comes. And then when it comes, you're like, this isn't how I prayed. God, I asked for the Mercedes, and but you give me a Bugatti. But I wanted a Benz, but you're gonna give me a Bugatti, and it's what He wants you to have. So sometimes, like I said, we got to sit back and say, all right, God, we got you. And you get to a point, like I said, once we overcome the fear aspects, it starts to allow us to naturally be ourselves, and even more around that person. We can see how we're connecting the way God would want us to connect. So, Brother Floyd, coming to you, man. What was it? What was it with Miss Patience? With Miss Patience, and they got you saying the love bug that bit you again. It got you to say, man, I'm gonna do this one more time, God. I'm doing it for you. And so what was that experience like? What was your, like some fears that you even had to overcome to enter into that relationship?
Well, I knew that I was meant to be a husband because most of my life that's what I was. But after going through the last marriage, it was hard for me to trust again. It was hard for me to believe that there was anybody out there, that was able to love me or receive the type of love I wanted to give someone. It's funny because the story. Literally, when I met her in the middle of COVID. And I saw her. I was about to turn away, and I heard a voice say, "Turn around and say something to her." Turn around, said something. Rest from history. But one thing that I think I was, first of all, I was honest with God, and I was honest with myself. I was honest with myself in a sense to say that I'm not healed, and if I get with someone, if because a lot of times we'll ask God for something, but we don't do the work to be able to receive the gift that God give us. And so I literally had to sit down and heal myself. And I remember when God spoke to me, he said, "This right here is a gift. Literally, this gift is from me to you, and you need to be careful how you take care of this gift." I think one of the things that got me was that, because even though I saw a lot of the things I was looking for in someone, because I was hurt, I was looking for her to be consistent. And the more we got to know each other, the more she was consistent. And the more she was consistent, the more I was able to open myself up to say, okay, I can give this another chance. Another thing that she said, another thing was, she has never ever created a space where I wasn't safe. Not one time has she ever made me feel less than a man. She always creates a safe space for me. And it's been that way for going on 3 years. It's amazing because she knows how to love me the way that I need to be loved, not the way that she think that she should love me. You know, and then in turn, I could love her the way that she needs to be loved, not the way I think she needs to be loved. You know, because of that, I'm able to be myself. You know, and I think you said something earlier about being triggered. With the right person, even if that person says something to trigger you, because they love you so right and so correct, you're gonna check yourself. You're gonna check yourself. You're gonna ask, is it really this person? Because up until that point, this person has never given you any reason to feel the way you feel right now. So it has to be you. And because she loves me so well, not only that, but I'm constantly because she loves me the way she loves me, I'm constantly being reminded by God how important and how valuable this relationship is and how important this marriage is. I think the marriage that we have is, it's a ministry within itself. So I have to continue to grow. I have to continue to seek God's help. You know, God knew my wife before I did. God knows more about her than I do. And so I have to constantly go to God and ask God, okay, how am I supposed to, I need to love her through you. And in turn, he loves her. He loves me through her. And so, she's my best friend. And I never thought that I would be in this space where I'm at now, but I'm thankful. But I'm also aware, like her father told me, this is a gift from me. Be careful how you take care of this.
Amen. That's awesome, brother. Awesome. Cam. Yeah. Yeah.
You already know, right? You already know, right?
Yeah. So go ahead, Cam. I'll let you jump in. Go ahead. That experience. Go ahead.
Yeah. So thank you, Floyd, for sharing that. Y'all, I promise you, these are not tears of sadness. When you get to a place where Ernetta, Floyd, Carl, and myself are, these are tears of joy. This is the overflow. This is the cup running over right here. And when you hear people overcoming their pain, looking within and not blaming someone else, and knowing that, no, I deserve better. I am worthy of love. I am worthy of the kind of love that I want. I'm worthy to have a partner who is my safe space. I'm worthy of a partner who wants to be my safe space. And there's a difference. And I'm telling y'all, y'all listen to this noise out here. Y'all are just setting yourselves back. It's not external. Your partner can't give you anything that you can't give yourself first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, my experience, and I know a lot of us have mentioned God in this, like God is who you say God is to you. And God for me is not outside of me. It's within me. He's within me. That's my power. I mean, the Bible says we were created in God's image. Well, who is God? God is love. So if we're created in God's image, then we are love, regardless of what happened in the past, regardless of any trauma we experienced as a child. Let me tell you, when you were a child, you had no say-so in that. That is not your fault. That is not your fault. And I apologize on behalf of them, like that they did not know, because at the end of the day, they didn't know who they were. And so they brought you into this world and they were raising you based on how they were raised. But, you know, we talk about generational curses. It's not a curse, it's pathology. It's basically, oh, well, my mama did this, my daddy did this, my grandmama, my granddaddy. So if it was good enough for them, it's good enough for me. No, it's all about choices. You have a choice. And that's your freedom right there. No, I choose to have a partner who I not only love with every ounce of who I am, but they reciprocate that. I'm deserving of a partner like that. And when you get crystal clear with yourself about who that partner is, you don't have to know them, people. You don't. Just like with Floyd, in the midst of COVID, he heard a voice, said, turn around. Oh, I got the same voice. I sure did. And the voice said, there he is. There he is. But see, what y'all don't know is the work that I was doing when I was getting crystal clear about who I am, who I wanted to be as not only a woman, but as a life partner, as a wife, as a helpmate. I didn't know who he was, but my friend of 2 years did. And then all of a sudden she's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I never introduced you to. That conversation, she asked if she could give him my phone number. She did. He called. We spoke for 4 days, communicated with each other for 4 days. 5th day, went out on our date. I turned the corner in the restaurant. Voice said, there he is. And when I tell you, and Ernetta, she even mentioned it, like it's, you can't even, your brain, your human brain can't even like figure that one out. Can't figure it out. But all you know is it feels different. And it's the kind of different that just continues to get better and better every single day. And you get better along with it.
Yeah. And that's fantastic. I mean, just it hits the nail on the head, Cam. You know, it's, you know, a lot of people don't know the behind the scenes. Of a lot of conversations, Cam, you and I've had, Floyd, you and I've had, the privilege of having, and it's a lot that we go through because we understand what love is. We understand what we desire. Even my shirt, this is the shirt. It says "Born to be a Husband." That is real. I always told people I was never birthed to be a boyfriend, and to be with this amazing woman in my life right now. I prayed and I asked God for 3 things. This woman presented those 3 things. She has no idea. She still has no clue to what those 3 things are. Because that was a conversation between God and I. And being with someone, as Cam talks about, it gets better and better. I knew what love was, so I thought, until I met this woman. And she loves me in a way I never thought you could be loved. She's unlocked things within me that only she could have the key to. I always talk about that missing rib. God took out a rib from the man to create his woman. And she's literally my rib. She pushes me to be better in a positive way. She encourages me to be a better self, because if I'm better as a man, I'm better for us to be in my leadership role. And so when you get out here and
That's good, man.
When you meet someone who makes it worth the pain you went through and the work you did, it's worth it.
Yes.
And I would go through that pain again.
Absolutely.
And the work again to have this woman in my life.
Yes.
I can't say it no other way.
Yeah.
And I think, as Cam, as you said it, there's so many people listening to the noise out here that's negative, that's only teaching you how to jump into bed with someone, how to get your bills paid, how to get you a baby possibly. It's not teaching you how to have a healthy partner. It's not teaching you how to be spiritually sound with one another. It's not teaching you how to really experience godly love. Unconditional love exists. When you're with the right person, it exists. Yeah. It's never, I would say, find the perfect, imperfect person for you. And when you have that person, unconditional love exists. No, it's not going to be roses every day. No, it's not going to be sunshine every day. What did New Edition say? Can you stand the rain? That's what's going to happen. If you make it through the rain, what comes after the rain? A rainbow. What comes after the rain? Flowers blooming. That's what marriage really is, and that's where you got to get to, but you got to do the work. So divorce, as much as it is a death, there's life after it. You just have to choose to want to get on the life path and not the death path at that point in time. You have to choose to want to do the work and stop making excuses and stop blaming the person that decided to leave you for somebody else, or decided to hurt you, decided to be a narcissist, whatever the case may be. You have to decide to get off that death path and get on a life path so that you can experience the love of life that God is for you at that point in time. So, that said, we're up on time. So we're not gonna take a commercial. We're gonna go ahead and jump into our Jerry Springer moment. But I just tell you, I appreciate each one of you being on here tonight. We're definitely going to do another part behind this because there's still so much more. We're going to drown the noise out. We're going to drown the foolishness out, and we're going to restore. Especially, there was a time when the Black community had the highest marriage rate. We're going to make it happen again. There were those of us that are pushing forward with that, and those that want to listen to the noise, go put your earbuds in. because you're not going to want to hear us. So that said, I'm coming to my sister Ernetta. What are your last words that you want to leave with them tonight?
Yes, I definitely want to say there is life after divorce, like Coach Carl said. And I want to leave you with my quote of, don't allow one chapter in your story to write your whole book. There's still more to come. I was sitting here getting emotional too, because where I'm at today, if I would have gave up on love, gave up on myself, I wouldn't be with the husband I am with now. I wouldn't be experiencing the life that I'm living now. So keep living, keep going, keep pushing. Better days is ahead of you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I'm coming to my brother Floyd right now. Floyd, your last words for the audience.
What an incredible show. What an incredible show. Just want to encourage you guys, if you guys was looking, I think when on my wife and my wedding day, and Carl was there, one of our prayers was that God would use our marriage to show other people that marriage is possible. That was one of the prayers we prayed. We prayed that even if there was somebody there that was shacking and it was an offense, that they would make a decision to marry, or if there were anybody that was there thinking about divorce, that they would reconsider. The thing is, after we got married, one of my wife's best friend was literally ready to file divorce. And after coming to our wedding, we didn't know that God was gonna answer our prayers that day. We found that out later on. I just want to let you guys know that if you do the work and you learn to love yourself and you heal, then you're able to love somebody else and be authentically who you are. With my wife, again, I know that she's a blessing from God to me. My son, he's a blessing. Because of who she's been to me, I'm constantly being aware of how much better I have to become. Not only for myself, but for her, for my son. And I understand that what we have is something so powerful. I just want to encourage you guys, don't give up. Don't quit. Do the work. Learn to love yourself. Trust that God has somebody out there for you that's even better. As a matter of fact, he has someone beyond, because he never just gives us what we ask for. He gives us bonuses on top of that. He gives us things and people that we didn't even know we needed. There's some things in my wife that's bringing out in me that I didn't even know I needed.
Absolutely.
So it's not only that God will give you what you need, but he'll go above and beyond all that and give you things that you never even expected.
Right.
But you have to do the work. You have to believe. And I like everybody has said, don't listen to the noise. Don't listen to the people that's out there that want to destroy us and see us fail. There are people out there like DBDS, like my incredible co-host, that want to see marriage win and relationship win. So I just want to say that. Thank you guys so much for this opportunity. Love you guys.
Appreciate it. Love you too. Sister Cameron, awesome show. Your last words. Go.
Oh, goodness. Thank you, first and foremost, to our viewers for checking in with us tonight. Hopefully, something was placed on your heart that will help you decide, make a decision in this moment that, you know what, I am worthy, I am deserving of experiencing true love, even after divorce. Special shout out to Ernetta. Thank you. Thank you for being an example, a beautiful example of what you receive when you do the work. Thank you, Floyd, for being an upstanding man, not only to yourself, your wife, your child, but also to Carl. We need more examples of Black men holding each other up and accountable. So I just want to tell everybody, it does not matter what you experienced in the past. Like Ernetta said, that's just one chapter. You get to choose and create and write the rest of your book. You can know how your story will end. And like Floyd said, if you stay focused, you'll get that plus more, above and beyond you could ever imagine for yourself. So we hope that you receive that. Please check in with us. If you're not a member of our free Facebook group, please join us. I promise it will bless your life. And we want to hear your success stories too.
Awesome. Thank you. So before we end, again, appreciate you, Ernetta, Floyd. Man, just phenomenal. I love you guys' marriages, and it's just enough to encourage other people. Cam, sis, you know how we do. I appreciate you co-hosting with me tonight. So my final words are, I posted towards the end of the 2023 in DBDS that there would be engagements and marriages coming out of this group. I'm telling you, it's coming. And then, like Cam said, join the group. It's coming. It's coming. There's going to be, I'm going to say 10. I got some inside information. I'm going to say 10 by the end of the year of engagements. I don't know how many marriages, but definitely 10 engagements. So
okay.
It's coming. It is coming. It's just, like I said, some inside information. I'm going to leave it with. But people, trust me, leave the noise alone. If you truly desire marriage, again, even if you're sitting, I know there's a comment earlier, even if you're sitting on the fence and you're saying, I don't know if I can do this again. Take it out of your hand and put it in God's hand. Take it out of your hand and give it to God. If that's what you want, let him fix your heart and provide the person that you're supposed to have in your life. Let him do that. Surround yourself with people. Again, reach out to all of us. I mean, if you need some encouragement, we're all here. Again, this is not about our pockets. This is about your heart. This is about, the Bible says man is not supposed to be alone. So even though we've gone through trials, tribulations, the pain, I said it earlier, I would go through that pain again to be with the woman I'm with today. I mean that, without a shadow of a doubt, without a blink. It's real. I'm telling you. And when you experience, and again, here's the thing, when you go through trauma of divorce and you learned and you loved and you learned all these different things, when you go into the next one, it's so much better. It's so much easier because you know what to expect. You understand different things, but you learn love at a different level. You learn love from a different perspective because you created that. So, again, I appreciate all of y'all tuning in tonight. Again, if you're on YouTube watching it, hit the subscribe button so you can be notified of the show. We thank Tramel Lawrence for allowing us to headline tonight and for what he's created with DBDS. So we love you, brother. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and exit on out. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. And again, DBDS is creating healthy marriages. We are taking over and drowning out the bad noise. Have a good night, everybody.